Everyone ignored the poor waitress until the CEO fell in love with her. "What do you even see in that waitress, Lucas?" his mother, Evelyn Vale, snapped, her voice ricocheting off the crystal chandelier. "Out of all the women I've introduced you to, educated, wealthy, respectable, you choose a girl who carries trays and apologizes for other people's mess? It's humiliating." Lucas Vale, 31, billionaire CEO of Vale Dynamics, didn't flinch. He set his glass down and met his mother's eyes. "I'm not judging Ivy by her bank account." Evelyn's lips thinned. "And what will people say? What will my friends think when they find out my only son is parading around with a poor girl from the bottom of the barrel? We dine with investors, not servers." "What people say matters less than who I am when they're done talking," Lucas replied, voice steady. "You're blinded," she hissed. "Girls like that can fake anything. They smile, they act kind, they pretend to love you until they drain your heart and your company. Wake up." Lucas stood, calm anger in every line. "It doesn't matter what I say. Your mind is made up." He turned for the door. "Break it off," Evelyn said coldly, "or don't expect to inherit so much as a chair from me." He glanced over his shoulder. "Keep your chairs. I'll keep my choices." And with that, Lucas walked out, leaving her furious in the glow of old money and old rules. Table 4 wants extra lemons. Table 6 wants the bill. Table 2 wants the world. Ivy Santos balanced 3 plates on one arm and a chipped smile on her lips. The lunch rush at the Copper Spoon always hit right after the office towers emptied into the street. She moved like she had learned to move her whole life, quietly, quickly, unnoticed. A group of men in slim suits waved her over without looking at her face. One snapped his fingers for iced water. Another pushed his empty glass toward the edge of the table like a dare. "You missed a spot," he said, pointing at a ring on the wood. "Attention to detail, sweetheart." "My name is Ivy," she said gently, wiping the ring. "I'll bring you drinks." They didn't hear her. People rarely did. She was the poor waitress, useful, invisible, forgettable. When she brought the water, one man rolled his eyes. "No cucumber?" he muttered. "I'm sorry, we don't." "Of course you don't," he snorted. "This place hires anyone." She exhaled slowly and tucked the sting away. She had no time to feel it. Her grandmother's medicine didn't pay for itself. Rent didn't wait. Life didn't pause. At the corner table, a quiet man in navy suit sat alone, head bent over a plain bowl of soup. He always came on Thursdays and always tipped well enough to embarrass her. He never demanded. He noticed things, though. The way she smoothed the napkin for a nervous teenager. The way she cut a burger in half for an old man with shaky hands. The way she tucked an extra lime wedge into a takeout bag because it made the customer smile. "Refill?" Ivy asked, his eyes kind. "Please." She poured coffee and tried not to wonder why her heart always tripped a little in his presence. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't loud. He listened. "Rough table?" he asked lightly, glancing toward the cucumber man. "They paid," she said. "That's enough." He smiled. "It's not." Before she could answer, her manager barked from the pass. "Ivy! Order window! Move!" She darted back, dodging trays and elbows. Chef Manny shoved plates onto the counter like they had offended him. "Table 6, he growled. "Got it," Ivy said, whisking the plates away. On her last round, someone's shoulder caught her hard. A full glass of cola tipped in slow motion, landing with a cruel splash over a woman's white blazer. Gasps. Accusations. The woman stood, furious. "Are you blind?" "I'm so sorry," Ivy said, grabbing napkins. "We'll take care of your dry cleaning. My presentation is in 20 minutes. Do you think napkins will fix that?" she snapped. "It was the guy behind," the buster started, but the woman was already glaring at Ivy. The quiet man in navy rose. "Ma'am," he said, smooth as water over stone, "I saw what happened. Someone bumped her. The restaurant will cover your cleaning, and if you like, I can have a new blazer brought from the boutique across the street." The woman huffed, softening as she noticed him. "That would help." "Consider it done," he said, then looked at Ivy, as if checking she was okay. She nodded once, throat tight. Later, as the rush thinned, Ivy leaned against the alley door and stared at the slice of sky between brick walls. She counted breaths until her hands stopped shaking. When she turned, the quiet man in navy stood, a few feet away, a respectful distance.
"I didn't mean to startle you," he said. "I'm Lucas." "I'm Ivy," she replied, because what else could she say to someone who had just taken a hit for her? "You handled that with grace," he said. "Most people would have snapped." "Snapping doesn't pay the bills," she said with a small smile. He nodded, studying her face like a story he wanted to read twice. "If it's not out of line, is your grandmother okay?" Her eyes widened. "How did you—" "You carry a pharmacy in your apron," he said gently. "You glance at your phone every break like you're waiting for updates, and you keep the window table empty at noon every Thursday. I assume that's when you call the hospital." Ivy Santos had never felt so seen. It was terrifying and warm at once. "She's stable," she said. "Thank you." He hesitated. "I know a specialist. If you—" "I can't take charity," she said quickly. "It's not charity. It's a connection. Same weight, just a different bow." A beat passed. He nodded, accepting her line. "All right," he said. "Another time." He left a generous tip under the saucer anyway. She tucked it into the jar labeled Lola, and told herself she would not, absolutely not, Google Lucas Navy suit, blue eyes, tech billionaire, top floor corner office later that night. She did. She slept 5 hours. She woke to the sound of her grandmother coughing and the gnawing thought that kindness could be a trap even when it didn't feel like one. The next Thursday, the quiet man didn't come. The day after that, he did. But not alone. He walked in with 2 executives and a woman in a white sheath dress, whose smile broke like ice. Heads turned, the room shifted. Ivy's co-workers straightened their aprons. "That's Lucas Vale," Tina whispered near the soda gun. "CEO of Vale Dynamics, billionaire. Be careful. People like him don't date waitresses. They own them." Ivy carried water to Lucas's table, and for a second, their eyes met, public face to public mask. He gave her the smallest nod, as if to say, "I'm still me." She poured water without spilling a drop. The woman in white didn't acknowledge Ivy at all. "Lucas, did your mother tell you about Saturday, Donovan's gala? You need a date." "I have a meeting," he said. "You can't miss Donovan," she said sweetly. "He's courting buyers for the new fund." "I'm not for sale," Lucas said, and sipped his water. The woman's smile iced over again. Her eyes flicked across Ivy with casual disdain. Invisible, those eyes said. Disposable. Ivy set down the bread and walked away. She had learned the first rule of survival. Carry your dignity like a tray. Steady, balanced, silent. That night, as she counted her tips, the manager cleared his throat. "We're short 200, he said, eyes sliding away. "It's not me," Ivy said. He shrugged. "Kitchen says you were near the drawer." Everyone looked down. Nobody spoke. She swallowed the lump in her throat and went home with sore feet and one more bruise you couldn't see. The gala swam with crystal and camera flashes. Ivy had no business being there, except that she did because the Copper Spoon had subcontracted temp staff to a catering company, and Ivy had said yes to the extra shift so her grandmother could have stronger medicine. She wore a black server's jacket and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. People didn't look at servers. They looked through them. Tonight, that invisibility would be her shield. "White wine," she murmured, moving through a circle of diamonds and laughter. Someone took a flute without looking. Another hand waved her away like a fly. She drifted toward the balcony for air and stopped. Lucas stood there, back to the city, jaw tight. The woman in white was at his elbow again, words soft, eyes sharp. "Donovan wants assurance," she was saying. "Sign the merger papers or the board will sign them for you." "I built Vale to make things that help people," Lucas said, "not to flip to a fund that cuts corners. Donovan's not the one cutting. He's trimming. You care too much about people. It's bad for business." From inside, a familiar rasp cut in, older, slicker. "Listen to your CFO, Lucas." Ivy stilled. CFO. She shifted her tray, tilted her head, and saw him. Martin Hale, the man with holy numbers and hollow eyes, the spider at the center of the boardroom web. She had seen his face in articles about aggressive efficiencies. She had also seen him in the diner. He had sent back his soup twice and called her girl like a command. Now he leaned close to Lucas. "You either approve the merger with Donovan's fund or we approve it without you. Don't be naive. You're replaceable." Lucas's face didn't move. No one who builds something with their hands is replaceable. People who only move numbers are. The CFO's jaw flexed. "Careful." The woman in white laughed softly, like a warning bell. "Think of optics, think of shareholders. Think of patience," Lucas said. "We designed biosensors. You'd put them into production without the third safety pass. Passes are expensive. Expensive things are for rich charities, not shareholders." Ivy's fingers tightened on the tray. She wanted to disappear and shout at the same time. Instead, she did what poor girls who last learned to do. She listened. A door opened. The CFO's voice dropped. "Fine, 1 week. After that, the board votes." And Lucas, he glanced at the woman in white.
Ivy lifted the tray to hide her face and eased closer. Vanessa's voice went even lower. "And call the blogger. Leak the waitress story. People will eat it. Billionaire CEO distracted by poor girl while company flounders." A small, amused scoff. "Cute headline. Devastating effect." The tray shook in Ivy's hands. She backed away and bumped into a chest. "Careful," a familiar voice murmured. "Lucas!" He steadied her, eyes searching. "Ivy, what are you doing here?" "Working and overhearing things." She nodded toward Vanessa. "Your CFO's sister wants to ruin you twice, once in the lab, once in the press." His jaw tightened. "You misheard." "I wish I did," Ivy said, and held up her phone, the last 30 seconds replaying quietly between them, enough to confirm, not enough to expose herself completely if he turned on her. Lucas listened, face unreadable. When it ended, he looked at Ivy like he was seeing her for the first time, and yet exactly as he always had. "Thank you," he said softly. "Come with me." "Where?" "Somewhere they can't bully you." "They already do," she said. "At work, in the street. People with money forget that words cost too." "He don't," he said. He led her to a quiet service hall tucked behind the ballroom. "There's a board vote in a week," he said. "They'll try to force the merger. If Vanessa delays the safety pass and a sensor fails in the field, real people get hurt," Ivy finished. "Yes." He took a breath. "I need proof. More than a snippet. I need the maintenance request they're planning, with a timestamp and an approving signature. Then you need someone invisible to fetch it, a poor waitress nobody sees." He didn't smile. "I don't want you in danger. People like her don't see me until I put a bill on their table. I'll be fine." "You were almost framed at the diner," Lucas said. "Don't tell me danger misses you." She stared at him. "How did you—" His mouth twitched. "I left enough tip to notice the count. Your manager pocketed what he thought no one would miss." He pulled a card from his inside pocket and held it toward her. "If anyone hurts you, call that number. It rings no one you see on a magazine." Ivy didn't take the card. "You can't protect me if I protect you." His eyes warmed. "You're not a shield. You're not a king," she swallowed. "You're a man who could fix things if he didn't have a room full of people telling him not to." A slow breath left him. "Stay where there are cameras. Keep your phone on. If it gets bad, walk away." "It's always bad," she said simply. "That's why people like me learn to walk through it." They slipped back into the ballroom separately. Lucas to smile for pictures he didn't want, Ivy to a service door with a badge she had borrowed from an absent temp. The lab was 2 floors down, connected by a corridor where the hum of machines sounded like tired bees. Ivy moved like a shadow, one hand on the wall, one hand on the tray she still carried as camouflage. She found it. Lab B. Lights low. Screen awake. She found the maintenance queue. The request drafted but not yet sent. Delay. Sensor batch 7B. Equipment calibration. Issue. Approver V. Hale. Her breath lodged in her throat. She snapped a photo with timestamp. She backed up the image to a cloud she'd made of borrowed emails and stubborn hope. Footsteps. She ducked into a supply closet and held her breath. Voices filtered through the door, Vanessa's, cool and certain. Another, a junior text, eager and afraid. Send it at midnight. By morning, Lucas won't matter. She waited until they were gone, then slipped back the way she came, shaking with hope she dared not name. When she reached the ballroom, Lucas was gone. A text vibrated her phone from an unknown number. Don't go home, not yet. They're angry. Meet at the river entrance in 10 minutes. L. She hesitated. Her grandmother. She needed to check on her. But danger had already spread like smoke. She typed fast. Lola, I'm safe. Stay with Ms. Reyes next door. Lock the door. Back soon. Then she tucked the tray under her arm and headed for the river. Rain began in coins, then sheets. Lucas waited under the awning, jacket dark with water. When he saw her, relief broke across his face. You got it? She nodded, teeth chattering. If I disappear, the photo goes to 3 people who don't like your CFO. You're not disappearing, he said, shrugging off his jacket to wrap it around her. You're coming with me. To where? To when you don't have to be brave alone. And then, softer, almost to himself, so I can stop pretending I don't love you. She stared at him, rain loud in her ears, heart louder. Lucas! Headlights washed across them. A black car slid to a stop, too cleanly to be a taxi. The rear door opened. Evelyn Vale stepped out, hair perfect in the storm. Get in, she said to her son. Her eyes slid to Ivy. You can go back to your tables now. Lucas didn't move. Mother, not tonight. Then remember this, Evelyn said, voice like cold iron. If you bring her into our house, you bring our enemies with her. She looked at Ivy and smiled without warmth. They collect poor girls like coupons. Ivy lifted her chin. I collect receipts. Evelyn's smile flickered. Cute. I mean, evidence. Ivy said evenly. Of the people you're trusting to guard your son's company. She stepped into the rain, away from the awning's safety. I'm not the problem in your story, Mrs. Vale. I'm the part that doesn't fit your ending. She looked at Lucas. Choose. Rain hammered the street. Ivy could feel the whole city holding its breath. Lucas reached for Ivy's hand. I already did. The copper spoon closed early the next day for ventilation issues, the handwritten sign claimed. Ivy knew better. Vanessa Hale called the owner. Complaints were made. Levers were pulled. The poor waitress who didn't know her place suddenly found doors locking in her face. She didn't go home. She went to the hospital with soup for her grandmother and a smile that hid everything. After, she stopped by the riverside bench where she had learned to breathe when life pressed too hard. She sat. She waited. She wondered how long a heart could beat hard before it exhausted itself. A woman in a slate suit approached, umbrella steady despite the wind. Ms. Santos? She asked. Yes. I'm Helena Ward, she said, offering a card. I don't know. You don't know me, but your mother did. Helena opened a leather folder and withdrew a sealed envelope, edges worn from years of careful storage. This was to be delivered to you on your 25th birthday. That's today, Ivy said slowly. Happy birthday, Helena said. Please read. Hands suddenly unsteady, Ivy broke the seal. The letter was in her mother's handwriting, the same soft slant that had written grocery lists and bedtime notes. Mi hija, it began. If you are reading this, I have been gone a while, but I am with you. When you were a baby, I worked as a night cleaner at a small lab that later became Vale Dynamics. The founder, Mr. Arden Vale, walked into the loading bay one winter and slipped on ice. I caught him.
It wasn't a big catch, just enough to stop his head from hitting the edge. He laughed and said I saved his brain. He asked my name. I told him I was nobody. He said I was wrong. He set up a fund he called the Argonaut Trust for the one who caught me. He said it would grow as the company grew, and on your 25th birthday, if you proved kind and steady, it would be yours. I never took a dollar of it while I was alive. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I didn't want you to carry a weight I didn't understand. If this letter finds you, I hope it finds you brave. Choose the people who choose people. Love, Mama. Ivy blinked the page into clarity. What is the fund? She asked, voice thin. Helena's eyes were gentle. A silent share. A golden one, some would say. Through holding companies and time, it now represents 19% of Veil Dynamics. You have voting rights, with one special condition Mr. Arden wrote. If a board action threatens safety protocols for patient-facing products, your single vote can block it. The river faded. The city went quiet. Ivy had learned to carry trays and secrets. She had not learned to carry this. I can't. You already have, Helena said. You've lived like it existed, choosing kindness when it costs something. She tilted her head. There's a board vote in 4 days. You will be asked to pick a side. I am not here to tell you which. I am here to remind you that being ignored taught you to see. Use that.